average speed of, rough maths, about 22 kilometres an hour. Damn near walking quicker. It's Landrover time. So it is Sunday afternoon, just it's 12:30. Not sure if this is a good idea because the weather forecast is incredibly hit and miss, but we're now late August and I haven't been out of town in the Landrover since May. So rough for an explore. Very loosely packed, very underprepared. Let's see what happens. So just before I make a big mistake and turn off at the first turn off to get to where I'm going, I'm actually going to check and see what food supplies I've got in the back, because it has been quite some time and I don't plan on going hungry if this turns out to be somewhere that I want to stay. Alright, got dinner, no breakfast, so consulting the map, it's only 2 minutes more to continue into the nearest town. So let's do that. Speaking of failure, that is exactly the intersection that I got to about a month back in the bus. Not quite sure what the plan is currently. So I'm sitting somewhere in the middle of nowhere because it's just occurred to me that, well, down there I have my bike, I have no helmet, shoes, riding clothes, or even clothes in general, other than the few that are left in the bus. Probably the better part of 45 minutes from home. I'm never a huge fan of how the road signs don't match Google Maps, but I'm still on track, I believe. That being said, one of the things that makes me most curious about where I'm going is I haven't been there in 30 something years, and there's very little about it online other than in apps, and a lot of conflicting information about the road conditions, whether you can get there in a normal vehicle, whether it's four-wheel drive, whether I'll get the bus there. Quick stop, because it's really easy to forget just how spectacular the Taranaki backcountry is and why it keeps drawing me back. And, well, some amazing places not too far off the beaten track, but most of the major centres and major highways go around the coast or straight up through the middle, which leaves vast areas that are relatively obscure. Well, this was unexpected. Part of the joy of it, I guess. The Mangammingi Bush Reserve is one of very few bush reserves in the greater Eltham area, and it's only about 3 hectares, but is sometimes home to the critically endangered native New Zealand long-tailed bat and a few other interesting specimens of tree and birds and so on. So we're going to have a bit of a roam around. Gotta say, as a huge fan of tree ferns, that is pretty awesome. As is this. Okay, so that's twice now I've disturbed those two kiriru that were quite happily just sitting in the tree at about head height. So there we are, it's about a 10-minute loop. I imagine in the right season there would be quite spectacular flowers in there. So the native lavender grows in there and a few other things. Pretty easy to follow if you've got half a brain. It's not a well-defined track, but as it's a trap line, it's pretty easy just to follow the trap markers or look for traps to find your way around. Get the impression it really gets used and would mainly be used by the locals conducting their trapping efforts. Well worth the stop off if you're heading in this direction. Ruku Moana Reserve. I'm not going to lie, it is pretty picturesque. The Brown River makes me feel at home. Though self-contained only makes it a little bit of a challenge because, yeah, it's incredibly greasy coming in. Yeah, we've had a little bit of rain, but I don't think I'd like to try and get a motorhome in and out with any real amount of rain. Certainly wouldn't try and get the bus in here. Don't get me wrong, I have given consideration to getting self-containment certification for the Landrover, but I'm reluctant. Current changes going on and on and on with different governments and otherwise about what defines self-containment, so you never know. Once they sort all that out, I might consider it, because places like this don't have to like the rules, but the rules are there for everybody to be applied evenly, so we play by the rules. The other downside is can't have fire here, but definitely looks like it'd be a very quiet place to chill out. Although the council also need to consider is the significant amount of old man's beard, which is a pest. Glen Nui Reserve on the Patea River. It's pretty much the end of Glen Nui Road before it goes to Glen Nui Station. And this has been on my list for years. As I say, I came here about 30 something years ago, I reckon. And there used to be houseboats on the river. That's what intrigued me so much about it, but that's okay, I'm not going to complain. We have a room with a view. It's also pretty quiet, not allowed fires. Clearly other people didn't get that memo, but whatever. It's a Sunday night, there's no one here, so I'm okay with that. The weather's not bad. So after all that, I really don't know what all of the reviews and commentary that I'd seen about both these campsites being a problem to get into. There's no problem to get into them. I could get the bus into this one. Shall I want to? I don't actually know why I'd want to. So after a quick consult of the topo map, I found that one of the other places on my list is actually somewhere that I haven't been. There's a lot of different lakes or parts of Lake Rangi which forms as a result of the Patea Dam. So I've been to one at the dam, and I don't particularly like the campsite and had no real desire to go there. Given that it's 10 to 4, I'm going to take a punt on going and checking this out and see what I can come up with. This makes a bit of an adventure, really, doesn't it? Stop to photograph a very lucky kararu who flew out in front of me and dipped below the bonnet and lost sight of it for a moment, and back on the road. Very rarely is the Landrover faster than Google's predicted arrival time, which makes this next destination seem a little ominous. I'm 20 kilometres from where I want to be. Google says it's going to take me 50 minutes. Which that says to me an average speed of, rough maths, about 22 kilometres an hour. Could damn near walk there quicker.
Is on the right.
So this is the Tango Tunnel on Tango Valley Road. It's the second longest of the Taranaki tunnels, the longest being the tunnel on the top of the Moki Saddle, not to be confused with the Moki Tunnel on Moki Road. If you've been following for a while, you'll get the idea that I'm a bit of a tunnel enthusiast. So this is a dead-end road, and it goes to another part of the Patea River. So we're going to go and check that out. The sun is going down. I don't know that I can camp out here, but we'll check it out. And I've now knocked off number 13 of the Taranaki road tunnels. However, if you like tunnels, hang around, because I'm aware of some other ones that I'm going to be visiting, and they are in Taranaki. More on that in a future episode. End of the road, Lake Road Rangi, or one of the parts of Lake Road Rangi. I've had a bit of a wander around, and my bin bag's now overflowing. Admittedly, some of that was in a bucket, so I've taken that with me, but the rest of it was just sitting around the perimeter, and it's been there for a long time, which I understand that people come up here and are messy and otherwise, but by the age of a lot of that rubbish, it's been here for more than a season. So actually going to call out Hawaii Water Ski Club, get your shit together. Seriously, this is beautiful, and you guys don't even clean up around your club rooms. A little bit disappointing, but I'm going to carry on anyway, and it'll look better for when you guys arrive next time. So this is future me. Because that comment might seem quite harsh, I thought I would put it into context of the recyclable rubbish that I picked up. What's in the bucket? Someone had already taken the care of to put in the bucket. The remainder is found really easily in the perimeter, partially buried, so it's been there for a long time. And all the plastic and general rubbish has already gone into the bin, because I don't want that blowing away. All that'll need to be washed so it can actually be recycled, so I'll take care of that. You can do better. Sadly, rubbish like that just ruins the vibe of what would otherwise be a beautiful place. I did read online some info that I had on this spot where there'd been disagreements between people camping in the area and the water ski club, so that is a factor in why I'm not staying there. I'm very big on respecting facilities that club members have fundraised for and paid for, because rightly so, they've put in the hard yards to have those facilities. But it is a spectacular spot, and so I wouldn't hesitate to come out here, this general area, just to chill out and enjoy a day while passing through, because there's so many spots to sit and have a picnic or read a book or just enjoy such a spectacular part of Lake Rangi. And actually, out of all the bits that I've been to, this would be my favourite. Now to head out and work out where I'm going to camp for the night. It's getting quite windy there. The weather is supposed to get windy overnight. So I don't intend to stay here, but this spot is far too nice not to have dinner, given that it's dinner time and the sun's gone down. Because there's a house over there on the other side of the lake, I'm not keen to stay here. That's not right. But have some dinner and then drive on out and work out where to. As per always, I feel a little bit out of place camping the night before I need to be travelling home. But I have to say, it's so good to be back out in the Landrover. Even if this ends up just being a day trip. Cooking dinner outside in the fresh air, room with a view. The bus is great, but this is exceptional. Feel the temperature changes, the breeze, hear the birds, smells, the sights. Might only be tuna and rice, but that makes it some pretty damn good tuna and rice. Well, I haven't got spotlights. I have got far better headlights than I had coming back from Mangammingi on Beyond the Highway 1, which was a horrible experience. It actually felt like re-entering the Earth's atmosphere if you got anything above about 90 kilometers an hour, because it was so hard to see anything. But looks like the rain's coming in now, so time to get on the road and more than likely head home back in the tunnel. So it's quite unexpected. The city lights from Hawara in the distance, which I thought I might just have a bit of a play with, trying to photograph them at night. So sometimes it's just about capturing moments, and I'm not sure how well I captured that moment, but it was certainly unexpected. Very windy, and so that was blowing the tripod around and otherwise, but good fun all the same. Update time. Just done some quick research in Hawara, and I can stealth camp or stay in a car park, and I'm not enthusiastic about either of those options, but I can continue to Patea, and I've got a beachfront free camping site that I can check out. So let's give that a hoon, because I wouldn't normally stay in Patea because it's close enough to home. Morning. Well, that was a nice quiet night, and maybe unexpected again, going by the reviews that I had seen. So we're in Patea, Mana Bay, Patea Beach, and up until about 2 minutes after I got up, it was dead quiet, and that was just a car with some boom tunes that lasted a couple of minutes, so it's really good. Got a room with a view. It is threatening to rain, as per always. To get a coffee on, to breakfast and get moving. I don't think there's going to be a huge amount going on for my day today, but I have to say, it's so good to be back out in the Landrover. It's really nice that there's places around for the low dollar hobo like myself that's not self-contained on trips like this, because these ones are just better. Bit of background on Patea based on my loose knowledge. So Patea was originally a port town, port settlement. I don't know if it was big enough to be a town. In its heyday, I believe it was quite large. This is the port entrance. So this fed the Patea freezing works, which closed down in the 1980s, which is the town's major employer, which almost sent Patea the same way as Ohura and many other small towns when their main industry closed down. They did manage to put themselves back on the map in the 1980s when the Patea Māori Club and Delvanius Prime got together to release probably what's one of New Zealand's most iconic songs of Patea. I doubt that I can put that in without copyright, but I'll give it a go. If I can't, I'll link it down below. Beautiful rough west coast beach, which that in itself claimed a lot of steamers back in the steamer days, taking lamb from the freezing works overseas. Well, that is another brilliant trip. If you enjoyed that, do all the usual things, and we'll see you on the next one. Maybe in the Landrover, maybe in the bus, maybe on the bike. But it will be something reasonably soon, I'm sure. Thanks for watching.